One of the great advantages of cities is that they're interesting. So, one of the things you'll notice if you read any history is how awful the cities were during the Industrial Revolution. You just need to read any Dickens to know that cities were dreadful places, full of diseases, um, full of terrible air, full of awful conditions, full of tenements. But you know, those people who were living on the farm previously, they chose to go to the city. Now, why would they choose to go to the city? Well, they chose to go to the city because the farm was even worse. Now, the reason you don't read about the farm being worse is that most of the people who lived in the farms pre-industrial times starved quietly and never wrote it down because they were illiterate. You see, the thing with the cities is it gives you the opportunity to meet new people, often of the other gender or whichever gender you like, to make the next set of humans. It's more interesting and there's more opportunity. Yeah, it's filthy. Yeah, it's the conditions are appalling, but they were appalling back on the farm, and they were also boring. So one of the things that there's been a lot of research on over the years is how cities allow people to exchange ideas. Because after all, if you have a business and I have a business and we get chatting, we might come up with a new idea between the two of us. And this is certainly true for big cities, and it's very true for universities. It's one of the reasons universities are often right at the heart of the most vibrant cities. But in a world where we have instant communications to anywhere, do you actually need as much of that living cheek by jowl concept to have the idea of exchanging ideas? I don't know the answer to that, but I think it's interesting to note that when you look at the number of scientific studies put together by the universities these days, they are often not just beyond one university's walls, but there are collaborations between universities and institutions on completely different sides of the planet. And I don't believe that would have happened 50 years ago because the communications between them would have been so bad. So in the modern era, we're living in a world where you don't have to live in the middle of the most vibrant city, whether that's New York, London, San Francisco, Alexandria, depending on how long ago you're talking. You can be elsewhere and still get access. But does it mean the city's dead? Probably not. Because the countryside, pretty as it might be, is really boring and you're not going to meet your mate there. So I think cities have still got a future, which is probably good for all of us. But I also think that you don't all need to be in one city for there to be great collaborations.